Hello Infiniteers! Today I'm going to build the cliffs over there that lead to the final level in my adventure. And I'm going to build a path for the player to reach the cliffs. And my goal today is to hopefully finish this level. That would be great. But first I want to make a tweak to the sound effects that I set up last time. You'll remember I had it set up to where the action enforcer here would make the player get slimed from the ink attack after the player hits an eye. And I used this time delayer to kick that off, as well as a sound effect. And the sound effect just didn't work very well. Might be better to access it from here. So I had it set up so that when the delay was completed, it would come into the action category and select web shot. And this is a pretty quiet sound effect. It doesn't work really well. But Captain ATM suggested using a splash sound. And so I want to try that instead. I think that's under, let's see, is it under nature? Might be under, yeah, it's under the general category. So this is a little bit louder and should work better from what I tested out. There we go. It's a water splash, but it could really be a splash of just about anything. And so that's what I want to use for that. And I decided not to do a death scream for this thing. I've got enough sound effects going on right now, because with the monster crying out and then the splash, I don't think we need another sound. And I got to thinking I don't really want this thing to necessarily die. And I'll explain that right now, actually, because now I'm going to work on the cliffs. And my idea is that when the giant squid loses both of its eyes, it's going to reach out a tentacle to grab the cliffs to steady itself. And that's going to provide a pathway for the player to reach the cliffs. So the creature doesn't necessarily die. It's just really wounded. And it can't go anywhere because it's blind. And that helps explain the fact that after you defeat this thing, it's still floating here with all of its tentacles still connected to everything. It's just not a threat any longer. And so what we're going to do is start with the tentacles that will form the rail slide. And we're going to put another, basically another rail slide here. And I'm going to put this down with a replayer, but for right now I just want to figure out the path and style all the pieces that I'm going to need. And once I have that figured out, I'll put it down for real with the replayer. And when the battle's over, we can use the replayer to put this down, and it won't be here until the player actually defeats the squid. Alright, so we're going to put down a couple of them, and I don't want this thing to be too flat. So let's put down another one of these. Another one of these, and I'm thinking this. Now let's see, is that going to be far enough away? So the cliff's going to be up at a little bit of a level here that's not going to be easy for the player to actually reach it. Oh, we got to style that too. So they're going to have to go through the battle to defeat the squid to get this tentacle up here, because they're not going to be able to do this and be able to reach this cliff unless they do that. That's my thinking. So if we do this and we place, let's see, We're going to put one tentacle over here, or one block over there. So maybe something like this. And we'll go ahead and style this to be Morro Bay Seascape. Now my main concern here is with the height of that thing. So we're almost going to need to either put a second cliff under this, which is going to start taking up a little bit more memory. Let's see, how are we doing on memory? Not too bad, I suppose. If we put this down like so, yeah, and we can build this out like that, and out like that. Alright, so what does that look like from over here when we're battling this squid? Alright, so we have the cliffs over there. That's not too bad. Let me grab this little square block over here, which is going to get us back to that part of the drawer. We're going to use this small terrain block now. And I would like to build a much bigger cliff, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Simply because memory is going to be an issue. Alright. And I'm thinking we're going to use this back over here. About like that. And I'm going to set this back a little bit. We're going to have to build a let's just do it like that. We're going to have to build a little cave here that the player is going to go through. Alright, so that's going to sit here like that, just a little bit back off the edge of that block. We're going to put the cliff in here. And I'm watching that memory creeping up there. Got to be careful about that. Okay, and at this point we are right at the memory limit. I can't do too much more because I gotta leave room for the enemies here. Alright, so that gets us to there. So at this point we're going to put one more block back here behind that. And we're going to put a terrain block, or a basic block, on the back side of this. And I'm going to style this with the modern theme. And the idea is that'll look like a cave that goes into the cliffs there. Alright, so here is our path for this thing. Alright, so at this point I'm going to pick this up just to get back to that part of the drawer. So we did one of those, 3 of these straights, 2 more of those in kind of a U shape, and then the little hook on the end. Alright, so let's go ahead and delete those. And we'll put them down for real now with a replayer. And by the way, we don't need these replayers anymore. I had used this one to put down those clouds, just in case I needed to delete them and recreate them, and I don't need to do that, so we'll delete that. And I also put down the pendulum on the far little island over there with a replayer, so I could put it down over the rail slide. We can delete that. And now we just need one more replayer for the tentacle. And I'm hoping this will not be a problem, because I've used a number of replayers already. Alright, so since this one's going to be hooked up with logic, we're going to take the playback interval to 0. And we'll come out of the editor and step on the replayer so I can get the menu in the lower right. I press B on my Wii U to start recording. And then we can put down the rail slide. And this is going to sit over here up against the squid like that. Okay, and these are already styled, so we should be able to put these down, because you can't do any styling in the replayer. It won't remember it. That goes in like that. That goes there like that. And then the tentacle grabbing the cliff like that. And I will exit out of the editor. Step on our replayer to get our menu again. Press B to stop recording. And A to clear. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we have our cliffs. We have everything else. Got our battle with the squid. Now let's hook that replayer up to our battle. So on the dual action trigger here, when both eyes have been destroyed, we're going to do a new logic connection. When complete, come over and play back the replayer. Okay. And there we go. And I had put down ahead of time an enemy wave generator here and a few locators that I thought were out of the way, but actually are not. But we're going to raise these up, and I'm just going to put these around here now, and I think I might actually put these in here. A couple of them. We'll put one there. Just selecting these things is a pain. All right. Put another one in here. So it's going to look like 2 of them are coming out of those cliffs. We'll move one up this way, have him come from this direction. We'll have a couple come from over here. And I'll show you how I have this enemy wave generator configured in a moment. Alright, so there's our enemies. So on the wave, I have configured this with 5 Machus enemies. Again, I would love to do a variety, but I don't have the memory for that. Under properties, we take the generation delay to 0. And the tentacle came over here across the top of that, so I think we'll put a trigger area right here. I'm pretty sure this is where it was. We can go back and play back the replayer if we need to. But when the player lands here, when entered by player any, we will generate the wave. So when the player gets over here, they're going to be attacked because they're getting close to Davy Jones's lair. And on the enemy wave generator, new logic connection. When the wave is generated, we will disable this trigger area. And again, let's have our level starter reactivated in case we need to test this multiple times. Okay, so now we have a battle over here at the entrance. The next thing I want to do, we need the cave here to take us to the new level. So we're going to put a trigger area right inside the cave. And we're going to need a toy box door. We'll put this around on the back side of this. And for the toy box door, under the properties, we are going to change the destination to be a new toy box, an empty toy box, and for the level name, we're going to call this Davy Jones's Locker. And I'm typing this in on my Wii U's control pad. There we go. And we will save it. Door link complete. And we don't need any of those other properties. And then we'll hook this trigger area up with a new logic connection when entered by player any. Make sure it's a player any, because we're going to have the enemies coming through this trigger area as well. We're going to change the level. So that'll take us into Davy Jones's Locker for the final boss battle. Okay, just a couple more things we need to do. I'm going to pick this button up, put it down, and we're going to drop another one up inside the wheelhouse where the button has sat in the other toy boxes, which is right here. Because it's going to look strange if that's not there when we've been seeing it all along. And we're going to put a text displayer here momentarily. I'm going to configure this. Text duration 4, text style banner. Alright, so when they push the button, and again this is the button that surfaces the sub and takes it down, submerges it. They're not going to be able to do that here, so when pressed we're going to come over and tell them they can't do that, like we did in the last level. So under the negative category, we'll have it say, not right now. And there is a hang bar in the engine room, or they're supposed to be. Let's grab another one. We have this one here. want to be consistent between all of the different copies of our submarine, so it feels like the same ship and it doesn't feel like it has changed. So when this is pulled down, we'll come up and play that same message up in the wheelhouse here. Down to the negative category. Not right now. All right. And let's move this out of the way. We can put this, hide this down inside the ship's hull, where the player won't see it, or we can put it behind the cliffs over here, where the player won't see it. Either way. And we need to put in the hatch in the diving chamber, the one that this hang bar opens and closes right here. It's the same hatch that we built back in episode 25. So we're going to do there exactly what exactly what we did there. And since I already built that there, I'll just put this in offline. I won't show you how to do that again. You can go back and watch episode 25. But the idea is they have to pull that hang bar over there to open the hatch so they can leave the ship. And at this point, we can move all of these creativitoys now below the terrain, behind this terrain, or up inside the cavity in the ship up here where the crew quarters were that I took out. If you left the crew quarters in because you're on a system with more memory, just move the creativitoys behind the cliffs here. The player won't see those there. And we don't need our button here for the level starter, so we can delete that. That's gone. Everything else stays. Just all of these ugly creativitoys that are floating out here. The sky changer, time delayer, replayer, move those out of there. You can delete this piece of terrain because you don't need that anymore. And that is it for this level. One more thing we want to do is once we have moved all the creativitoys out of the way and we're ready to save our level, we're going to come in here to do the save. And this is the file that I had loaded. This is my older backup. So I'm going to use that. We're going to overwrite that. And we want to come down and change the level name. This got its name Nautilus from the other toy box down there called Nautilus, which was just the raw ship with nothing else. And that's the one I've been reusing to make copies of the Nautilus for each of the levels. But I want to change the name of the level that we are currently in. And I'm going to call it Kraken Cove. Like that. And that's going to be the name of this level. And this will save the toy box with the new name. And that's it for this level. But I'm not going to play through it right now. I'll wait until the final episode when I play through the entire adventure. Next time, I'm going to build that final level, which will be a small arena for our boss battle with Davy Jones. Thank you for watching. Before you go, leave a comment and let me know what you think of this level now that it's done. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Disney Infinity builds like this. That's all for me today. I'll see you next time.